IELTS Speaking Part 2, Cue Card. Describe a famous scientist or inventor you know about. You should say who he or she is, what this person has worked on or invented, what are some interesting facts about this person, and say whether his or her work or invention is still important.
You will have to talk about the topic for 1 to 2 minutes. You have 1 minute to think about what you are going to say. You can make some notes to help you if you wish. All right? Remember, you have 1 to 2 minutes for this, so don't worry if I stop you. I'll tell you when the time is up. Can you start speaking now?
Born in the USA during the mid-19th century, Thomas Alva Edison is perhaps the most famous and influential inventors of all time. Prominent inventions like the phonograph, the electric light bulb, the motion picture camera, and the mass communication system are a few of his transcendent works. He is often credited as America's greatest inventor. I'd like to profoundly thank you to let me talk about this great mind whose inventions and work have shaped the pathway for the modern world. Thomas Edison was a genius and very inquisitive from his early childhood. He was a prolific inventor, holding more than 1,000 patents in his name. Despite suffering from hearing loss, having only 12 weeks of formal education, and experiencing a bumpy ride in early childhood, he invented and developed so many wonderful devices, perhaps due to his extraordinary mental and physical stamina. The phonograph, a device for the mechanical recording and reproduction of sound, was perhaps his greatest invention. He also worked to improve the microphone for the telephone, devised a commercially viable electric bulb, expanded the DC power delivery system, designed the fluoroscope, a machine that uses the X-ray to take radiographs, improved telegraphs, enhanced motion picture camera, and the mass communication system. However, the list of his inventions is simply overwhelming, and their utilizations are mostly practical in our daily life. Edison, as a person and a scientist, had so many interesting and intriguing facts, and in fact, I have already mentioned 2 or 3 of them. To reciprocate, he didn't learn to talk until almost 4 years old, had only 12 weeks of schooling, sold newspapers and candy on the railroad, suffered almost a total loss of hearing, had a great number of patents in his name, and so on. Definitely, his inventions and works are still important. He had, in a way, shaped the foundation for scientific development in the modern era. We just have to look at the electric lights and telephones we have in our house to understand how rich his contributions still are in our lives. He literally eliminated darkness around us to give us a luminous world.
Describe a famous scientist or inventor you know about.
Having been born in 1879 in a place called Ulm, Germany, Einstein was an average student in his class but showed some keen interest in science and mathematics. Little did anybody know at that time that he, as the firstborn of a Jewish couple called Hermann and Pauline Einstein, would one day change the course of history in science and physics. Einstein worked on many things like Brownian movement theory, or the zigzag motion of microscopic particles in suspension, the quantum theory of light, and the theory of relativity, in which Einstein explained that time and motion are relative to their observers as long as the speed of light remains constant. However, his most famous work, in my opinion, was the invention of the formula E=mc2, relating mass and energy, which later on formed much of the basis for nuclear energy. Of course, we all already know about these inventions, but what many of us perhaps didn't know that Einstein renounced his German citizenship when he was just 16. We also perhaps didn't know that he married a female student in his physics class at Zurich Polytechnic in Switzerland. By the way, Einstein also spent all his prize money to pay for the divorce of his first wife. The fact that surprises me the most about him is that Einstein was asked to be Israel's second president, but he refused, stating that he had neither the natural ability nor the experience to deal with human beings. But then I wonder, this is exactly what one of the most prolific scientists of all time would and should do. His inventions are still important and will remain so for a long, long time, as they pretty much change the idea of energy, motion, and light, and how we use them to our advantage. In fact, the global positioning system, which we use today in our mobile applications, wouldn't function without special and general relativity. Besides, solar panels, photovoltaic panels, which convert the sun's energy into electricity, and the photocell eyes, which are installed on the sides of the automatic doors, rely on the photoelectric effect explained by Einstein. Finally, the electricity that we use is a result of nuclear energy derived from his famous formula E equals a multiplex square.
Describe a famous scientist or inventor you know about.
In my opinion, Marie Curie is a remarkable female scientist and inventor who has left an indelible mark on history. I am happy to have been given the chance to talk about this scientist, and thank you for that. Marie Curie was a Polish-born physicist and chemist who became famous for her pioneering research on radioactivity. Her most significant contribution to science was her discovery of the elements polonium and radium. Together with her husband, Pierre Curie, and Henry Becquerel, Marie conducted groundbreaking experiments that led to the discovery of radioactivity, a term she coined herself. One of the most interesting facts about Marie Curie is that she was the first woman to win a Nobel Prize and remains the only person to have received Nobel Prizes in two different scientific fields, physics and chemistry. In 1903, she was awarded the Nobel Prize in Physics alongside Pierre Curie and Henry Becquerel for their research on radioactivity. Later, in 1911, she received the Nobel Prize in Chemistry for her discovery of radium and polonium. Despite facing significant challenges as a woman in the male-dominated scientific community of her time, Marie Curie's work laid the foundation for modern atomic physics and revolutionized the field of medical science. Her research on radioactivity paved the way for important applications in medicine, including the development of radiation therapy for cancer treatment. In my opinion, Marie Curie's contributions to science remain highly relevant and important today. Her discoveries continue to influence various scientific disciplines, from physics and chemistry to medicine and technology. Moreover, her groundbreaking achievements have inspired generations of scientists, especially women, to pursue careers in STEM fields and strive for excellence in scientific research.
Kindly leave the topics or IELTS questions you need answers for in the comment section below. Make sure to like and subscribe to my channel for new and useful learning material uploaded every day. Thank you for listening.